The following podcast is brought to you by the Johners Podcasting Network, found exclusively at WrestlingWithJohners.com.
Favorite MC, they won't work with me. You don't fuck with chaos, cause you ain't heard of me. Listen to this track one time, you see I murder beats.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of the Chaos Theory Podcast. My name is Mr. Chaos. What you guys just heard is a little tiny snippet of a new track on my mixtape called Killing the Competition. The mixtape is available now, but aside from that, I want to get into tonight. Tonight, we got a guest, second time on. I told him anytime he wanted to or needed to promote, he was more than welcome to come on. That's what we're doing tonight. My brother, my big dog, Nate Nasty. Nasty Nate from the Dog Pound Dojo. What's up, big dog?
What's going on, Mr. Chaos? How are you doing tonight, my brother?
Man, I am above ground, big dog. I cannot complain.
Amen. Amen, my man. It is another beautiful, beautiful Friday coming at you live tonight from outside the Dog Pound Dojo.
Hell yeah. And you guys, I don't know too many podcasts who have people that they associate with, people that they're friends with that are outside of a school ran by two Hall of Famers, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe at the end of the show, we'll have Nate go inside and see if we can get a little bit of action shots on. We'll see. So you guys have this new show coming up.
Yes, sir.
It is next Saturday, right? Yep. Cold Blooded.
Yes, sir. February 26th, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling's returning to The Pit, a.k.a. the historic Woodlawn Gym in San Antonio, Texas. And we're presenting Cold Blooded. And we have an amazing, amazing stacked card from top to bottom in store for all of our fans, new and old. If you haven't come out to a Dog Pound Championship Wrestling event, this would be the perfect one for y'all to make it to. We've got a hell of a lineup. I just remember that you're a late night podcast, so we can get a little PG-13.
Hell yeah.
We can get a little nasty.
Yep. So yeah, you guys, man, this card is dope. Like, you have one of my favorite people in the entire world is Jasmine Allure. She's, for being as new to the business as she is, she's a class act and she's a killer inside the ring.
Yes, sir. No,
you guys
100%.
have Black Widow.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Another amazing female talent from the southern region of U.S. and Mexico. We're super, super excited to bring in a legitimate world champion in our females division, and to really just spice things up in our females division, and then make a statement that we're building one of the best female divisions in the entire state of Texas, and then not only that, but in all of independent pro wrestling. Yeah,
at 1,000%. Like, I didn't get to make it out to the last show, and this one's kind of short notice for me as well, so I may not be able to run. But I'm telling you guys, go on YouTube, look up Nate, look up Dog Pound, look up, there's a bunch of different associations and different, places that these guys are working, spreading the gospel of the Dog Pound Dojo. And like we talked about last time, two absolute Hall of Famers in Jazz and Rodney Mack running the school, putting on shows. I did hear, I have my ear to the streets a little bit in the Texas independent scene. And from the reviews that I heard about the Teddy Long Tag Team Invitational it was fucking fire, bro.
Dude. So for anybody that didn't make it out to the show last month, like I predicted on this show last month, we set the tone for the entire rest of the year. We're already seeing repercussions and rematches and first title defenses happening this month that were set up last month. Our new tag team champions, the winner of the Teddy Long Tag Team Classic, the OMGs, They're going to have their very first tag team title defense against, I believe, the Russell Twins. And then last month, we also had Haas Holding defend his pound-for-pound dog pound championship against Mike Dell. And we did not get the most satisfactory conclusion to that. So we're going to run it back this month. We're going to have the rematch. And Haas Holding has guaranteed that there will be a decisive winner this month.
Y'all, if you missed the last episode that Nate was on, we had, essentially we nerded out about wrestling for a couple hours. But you guys have to check out Haas Holding. Like, this dude is over the age of where you would expect somebody to be a world champion representing for an up and coming promotion. But we just had a couple of interactions. Seems like a dude. He's been tuning in, supporting my show for a while now. So I really, really dig, Haas Holding. I haven't seen him work, but just as a person, the dude is just a fucking phenomenal person from what I've seen so far.
Well, dude, I mean, so you're talking about a legitimate, this is not a gimmick. This is not a character. He is a legitimate 60-year-old rookie who is out here every single night working, hustling. We were in the green room and you saw him come by and he's literally talking about digging a ditch so that he can build a driveway like at his home. And this is after he just got done working like 16 hours at his shoot job. And then he was at practice all night tonight as well. This is a dude that hunts down at the Medina River for his dinner every single morning after he does he has this ridiculous like hill that's like 3 or 4 miles up and like 3 or 4 miles down. He runs that every morning and then goes out to the Medina River and sits there with his Steve Weisers and his reel. And he literally catches his own dinner every single night while he's pumping iron after he does his cardio. And then he still shows up every single night here at the dojo to just kick ass. And then going just like the tiniest bit behind the scenes, man, Haas Holding is one of the absolute workhorses of the entire Dog Pound organization. Haas Holding is always carrying the flyer, always carrying the banner. There's a reason that he is our pound for pound champion. And that's because he represents Dog Pound, pound for pound.
Hell yeah. I mean, you got to having the names Jazz and Thunder Rosa and Rodney Mack behind Dog Pound Dojo, that's huge, huge clout. But that clout only carries so far. So to have somebody who loves the school, loves the company, loves the people he's around, being a 60-year-old man, come in, bust his ass, probably get his balls kicked in practice every night, and then still be out to fucking flyer and promote the show. That's the kind of person you want in your company. That's the dude who's going to literally set up the ring, tear down the ring, take tickets, fucking commentate, whatever the company needs. That's a company man. So shout out to Haas Holding. That's fucking dope.
That's our guy. I believe I told him the other night, I was like, boss, you the horse that's pulling the cart, and I'm just trying to do my part to help, and I'm just pushing from behind, Haas Holding is a great representative of not just Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, but also the Dog Pound Dojo. And next Saturday night, man, Mike Dell's in trouble, because as Haas Holding's workout partner, there's a reason that this shirt is staying on, and that's because he's done bruised me up left and right since last month. The man's got a fire and an anger behind him right now that I wouldn't go nowhere near, man.
Yeah, I'm telling you, y'all, he came on camera and I was like, what the fuck? What kind of 60-year-old has arms like that?
He's ripped.
Yeah, that dude is ridiculous for 60. But so let's talk about a couple of other people that are on the card. Yeah. Iceman King Parsons. So I'm very, very new within the last year to Texas independent wrestling, to independent wrestling really at all. Tell me about King Parsons. Why should I be paying attention to him? Should I know him? Why should I immediately after this interview go watch a King Parsons match?
Well, man, so the Iceman King Parsons is a Texas wrestling legend. he has wrestled. He used to wrestle with the World Class Championship Wrestling. So this is
Holy shit.
Yeah, so this is a man that has tangled it up with the Von Erichs, with the Freebirds, with Chris Adams. You know, this is a man that has seen every talent that you can think of in the wrestling industry that went through that promotion. This is a man that's interacted with them in some way, shape, or form. And so that knowledge and that experience and that energy that the Iceman is going to bring down to the pit is going to be just unmatched. And so if you are a fan of classic Texas wrestling, if you are a fan of old school WCCW, this is the event for you, because we've got a legit living legend in the Iceman coming to town next week.
Dude, if you guys are listening and have never watched, look, I'm going to give you the most basic surface rivalry from WCCW. The Von Erichs versus the Freebirds. That shit is all over Peacock on the WWE side. You can find WCCW everywhere. But you're also talking about guys that came through WCCW. I mean, anybody.
It's a who's who.
Yeah, anybody who's ever been anybody back in that day. Ric Flair's come through WCCW. Like I said, Michael P.S. Hayes, the Von Erichs. Like the Von Erichs alone in Texas, you guys don't understand. The Von Erichs in Texas were goddamn the Beatles.
Bro, like for real.
And like then literally there's video of these guys walking to the ring, because Lorium in Dallas, even the Von Erichs said it was a shithole. It was an absolute shithole. But it was their shithole, and it made it special. You would see Kerry Von Erich running down to, or walking down to the ring, getting his junk grabbed on by some random like 90-year-old woman. That's the Von Erich's influence in Texas. So to have a guy who Fritz Von Erich trusted enough back in those days, like let's be completely honest, right? Back in the days in Texas, we're talking WCCW's 60s, 70s ish.
Yeah, 60s, 70s, 80s, a little early into the 90s, very early into the 90s, but yeah.
Yeah. So you're talking heyday of WCCW's 60s, 70s. Iceman King Parsons is a black man. So to be allowed to, in Texas, to be allowed to work in a promotion during that time as a black man and learn under Fritz Von Erich, who is by all accounts a fucking wrestling genius, there's a reason that he had stability in that time, right? So there's certain people think you as a wrestler want to learn from, right? And if I was a wrestler, it would be The Undertaker, it would be Shawn Michaels, it would be, Eddie back in the day, stuff like that. Iceman King Parsons is one of those guys where you can pick his brain and figure out, why do you do this? And he could tell you stories for days. So that's going to be dope for you guys as trainees and students and workers, and getting that knowledge passed on.
No, absolutely. And then what made Iceman King Parsons so marketable here in Texas was that he's so charismatic. He is so over the top. He was so entertaining. He is still so entertaining. And so to bring a legend like that, a Texas legend, into our home of the pit is such an honor. And then to bring him out to the fans and to let them experience what people haven't been able to experience, in a very long time. And that's a legitimate Texas badass, coming back home to a territory, a place that he's familiar with. And I know the event is cold-blooded, but honestly, it's going to be fire.
Yeah, I mean, even the crazy shit is, I'm such a wrestling nerd. Like, as obviously I'm not a wrestler, but even as a fan, like if I could sit down with that dude and just pick his brain about WCCW, like he's one of those dudes that would have you as a wrestling nerd asking for one more story all night long.
Dude, all night. It's going to be such an honor to share the locker room with him. On top of him, we've also got Memphis Hall of Famer Reggie B. Fine, who has made a name for himself over the past, I believe, 20 years all across the country, has been inducted into, I believe, 2 or 3 different Hall of Fames. And so to have him come into the pit and show up and just show out is going to be an amazing time.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking with just those two, you're probably talking about, I don't know, God, 70 years of professional wrestling experience.
Just with those two. Then add in Rodney and Jazz. And
that's
then
exactly
add in,
what I was going to say.
And then add in veterans. Insane. Yeah, no, then you have to also add in veterans like the Midnight Special, one half of the Midnight Blazers. We've also got former NXT star Ivan Warsaw. So we've got so what I like about our promotion is that we have such a range between, you can come see some classics and some favorites that you already know, and then you're also going to see some new up-and-comers, some homegrown talent that are really stepping up, really ready to shine. One of our guys straight out of the Dog Pound, Superfly Soda Pop Hendricks, going one-on-one with Johnny Lyons, another young up-and-comer. Those two guys are super quick. They're super fast. They super fly, honestly, both of them, you know. So that match is going to be, well, honestly, that's my pick for like underdog of the night, match of the night, low key, high key. That's going to end up being the match of the night. You heard it here again first on the Chaos Theory podcast.
Hell yes. Dude, I'm so excited for this shit because Texas, San Antonio in particular right now is blowing the fuck up with fantastic talent. Like, you know, you've got so many fucking people who are star bound right now. You know what I mean? Like, dude, it's fucking insane how crazy independent wrestling is. We've got you guys, and then you've got Hybrid on over by Culebra, and then we've, you know, there's these different schools. River City Wrestling's here in San Antonio. You've got some smaller promotions that are not smaller promotions, but promotions that are just outside of San Antonio, like Castroville and Uvalde and stuff like that. What makes it exciting is the fact that we kind of touched on this last time, is the fact that legends want to put their thumbprint and their fingerprint, not take the spot. I'm not saying thumbprint like that, but these legends want to come in and accelerate the Texas wrestling scene so much. You know, like Chris Marvel is back wrestling now.
I saw that.
Yeah, dude, with a fucking killer match. Dude. I'd never seen Marvel wrestle. So when I saw it, I was like, yeah, okay, that makes sense. That, I mean, just, it was fucking dope. And then you've got young guys, yourself, Casey Blackrose, Alexander Crowley and Lilith. Like, you have so much. Pac Ortega, Elijah Galindo. Like, you have so many different people coming from Texas. Like, I got asked on Twitter the other day if I thought Texas was the hottest scene in independent wrestling right now. And I said, 100%. For my money, oh yeah, for my money, there's nobody touching us right now.
No, not even close.
And Texas is full of legends. That's the other thing too.
No. So the scene here in Texas is absolutely on, like, it's already blossoming, and it's on the verge of like a full-blown explosion. Again, y'all hearing some fire out of Nate Nasty tonight. Okay, I'm making bold predictions. All right, but within the next 5 years, probably less than, Texas is going to become one of the deepest independent wrestling sites for the entire industry. Guaranteed. And it's not just because like WrestleMania is going to be in Dallas this year. That's the start. Like, the entire industry is going to converge onto Dallas, which is still in Texas, okay? And they're going to see how Texas turns out for this one weekend. And I promise you, after that, it's off to the races. It's not just for Dog Pound. It's for everybody involved here in Texas and in, you know, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Louisiana, New Mexico, like all these surrounding regions. Like, we're about to open up. We are already opening up this ginormous platform, you know, with the TSW Plus app and then all the other streaming apps that are going that actually like use Texas wrestling, you know. And then going back to the crop of talent, man, there are so many talents that are up and coming that are just starting, and then there are even more talents at these schools, in these dojos, that are just waiting for the right moment and the opportunity to really break onto the scene and show exactly what they're made of.
Oh yeah, I mean, look, the deal is this, and I'm glad people are starting to get it. Without people coming into these schools and training and being taught how to wrestle the right way, but not just how to wrestle, but how to carry themselves and how to act and the psychology and you know, every little thing that you have to kind of gain before they throw you out of the nest and make you go on your own. Without these schools, without guys like Rodney Mack and Jazz and Funaki and Marvel and you know, all these guys investing in wrestling would have been dead in the 1800s.
Right, exactly.
So what's really dope is the fact that now you have guys coming from California and Michigan, like my boy Isaiah Broner's coming down to Pele Pro this month in Dallas. You know, you have these guys that are traveling throughout the country, and you're learning, okay, what works in Texas ain't gonna work in California, and it ain't gonna work in New York. So we have to figure out and adapt, which I think for you as a wrestler, it's kind of got to be a dope ass challenge when you have to sit back and think, okay, if I go to California, for example, what do I have to change about Nasty Nate Nasty to help me get over either as a heel or a face with the crowd in California? That's got to be something in the back of your mind. You're like, I can't fucking wait to get this.
Yeah, no. So like 100%. Last month we actually went over to Dryersburg, Tennessee. All right, and we're working a show there. And the promoter comes up to us and, you know, explains, you know, hey, just so y'all understand, because we've never been there before. It's our first time. We're a family-friendly event. So, you know, your entrance music can't have curse words. You can't curse. You know, no adult themes, no obscene gestures, the whole nine, right? And so now we're a family-friendly product here at Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. But I'd like to think of us as like a PG on like the line of PG-13 product, right? So the fans show up in Dryersburg. They pack the arena, right? They're hanging from the rafters, brother. And I look over at one of my dojo partners. I peek my head out the curtain. I'm looking at the fans, and I go, dude, this ain't family friendly. This is a kid's birthday party. And that's completely different. So for any of my fans that have been out to the Dog Pound shows, have seen my stuff online, watch this last interview with us. Y'all know that I'm a nasty dude. I come out with a cigarette. I'm a chain smoker. That's legit. I smoke one before I go out to the ring, and I smoke one when I'm done in the ring. Not that night. You know,
nope.
But like, that's going back to the challenges of working a different town, working a different audience. And, you know, I'm going to take a big leap of faith right now in saying this, and I'm willing to stand behind it. I think that Dog Pound Dojo is the only place that you're actually able to get that type of on-the-road experience with such a high-level mentor, because they're not just sending us out into the wild. You know, we take those road trips out to Tennessee, and we've got Rodney Mack with us in the back seat. And as soon as the show is over, and as soon as we get back in the car, you can bet that for the next 3 hours, depending on how many guys are in the car, he's breaking down every single one of our matches by memory, okay? Because unless one of us is like able to go out and record the show, we don't have like the footage like right then and there. So this man is going off of the memory of what he saw in our match, and he is breaking it down move by move, inch by inch. And that's a type of invaluable experience that people don't get anymore. You know, you hear all these stories about how, you know, Steve Austin jumped in the car with Dutch Mantel, and he spends the next 2-3 years driving Dutch Mantel every night, hearing stories, getting his matches broke down, getting ripped on, you know? And that's something that is happening here at the Dog Pound Dojo for those that want that opportunity.
Yeah, and what really makes that dope, man, is look, everybody knows that we are our own worst critics, right? Like we will down.
Mm-hmm.
People, unless you're like some egotistical prick, people generally don't give themselves compliments. They'd rather shit on themselves. It's just how we are as humans.
Mm-hmm.
So to have somebody like a Rodney Mack say, look, you did this. Here's what you can improve. Here's what you did well, right? That here's what you did well carries so much weight to come from somebody like him.
Mm-hmm.
And that here's what you can improve kind of turns the headlights on and says, oh, I need to work on that, and that. So yeah, you're 100% right. Even from just like a mentoring point, not from ever being in the business, but just as a mentoring professional standpoint. Yeah, I mean, to get somebody with his level of knowledge and I mean, his level of callus on his body, like this guy's been through it, and Jazz and, you know, all the other veterans that come through, you know, Teddy Long, people like that. Dude, all it can do, if you can't learn from that experience and become a better person and a better wrestler from that experience, then you
the problem. You the
Yeah.
problem. No,
Yeah.
let's call a spade a spade. If having that much like high level caliber experience and mentorship and knowledge, if you can't make yourself any type of better, you the problem.
Yeah, 100%. So we've talked about the card, basically. What I want to talk about is what I want to get to is you mentioned guys and girls and people in the dojo that we don't know yet that are kicking ass and taking names. So do me a favor and put a couple of those people over.
Okay. So for anybody that didn't make it out to the January show, we've got a brand new tag team called the City Boys. They are absolutely and they will be one of the most entertaining tag teams in all of Texas wrestling. Whiskey Sour and Beano Blue. They are unlike anything you have ever seen before. I can't even put in the correct words to describe like their style or their aesthetic, or there's something that you have to experience in person to really understand it. You know, that's the City Boys are a team that have made appearances out in Austin for AAPW. They made their Dog Pound debut, and I'm almost positive that they're going to continue making an impact, not just here, but all throughout the state. And so I'm super excited for what the City Boys are going to bring to the table. Let's see, we've also got Xavier Lockjaw Gotti, who is another super young up-and-comer with massive amounts of potential. I mean, this guy is like, I think he's 6'3". He's like 215, maybe 220 of just like solid, just brick, you know. And he's going to be another guy. He's actually going to be taking on Ricky Reyes next Saturday in the pit.
Oh, shit.
The Ricky Reyes from Lucha Underground, from MLW, from AAA.
Guys, if you don't know who Ricky Reyes is, look, find Lucha Underground.
There it is right there, man.
Just find Lucha Underground or MLW. Or what is he? He's AAA, you said?
Yeah, I believe he's AAA. I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I don't speak Spanish, so it's hard for me to keep up with.
You have plenty of opportunities to see Ricky Reyes. This dude's been all over the place. What's dope about his style is it's very lucha, but it's also very snug. Like the dude, he has, I can't go into the backstory of him on Lucha Underground. It's too fucking complicated. They weirded out towards the end of that show. But just know that not only is dude a fucking phenomenal in-ring talent, but he can act his ass off. So Ricky Reyes coming down here and putting his skills to work is always a welcome addition to anything. That dude is a badass.
Yes, sir. And so going up against one of the dojo's finest up-and-comers with Xavier Lockjaw Gotti, they're both going to have their hands full. And that's another one that I'm super excited to witness and be a part of. You know, and then of course you got me, the nastiest of nasty can be. And how can you understate that? You know,
Exactly.
I show up to the building and have poor man's Jehovah Witnesses running scared.
That's funny.
Dude, I show up to shows and I got poor man's Jehovah Witnesses breaking their own ethical code and hitting me with illegal knees from the back of the head, you know, and then I still get up. So the amount of just young talent that's getting ready to just absolutely kill it over the next year, over the next 5 years, over the next 10 years. There's so many just young, hungry guys that are coming out of all these different schools and dojos, and it's really going to take off into something else. And I can't wait to see not only does my improvement, but like on a personal level, like these are my brothers. You know, we sweat in here, we bleed in here, we yell at each other in here, we cry in here. Like there's I promised them I was going to keep it as PG as possible, but I'm gonna just say it. There's real shit happening here at the dojo, and not just, you know, real wrestling shit. Like there's real life shit. You know, I really like that how you end all your podcasts, stating that if anybody needs any help, any needs to reach out, you know, that you got an open line. Man, that's the exact attitude that we have here at the dojo for all of our guys. You know, when things get tough, when life happens, we lean on each other. And it really is a brotherhood, not just within wrestling, but just more specifically here at the Dog Pound Dojo, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. You know, everybody really works to come together.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
I got
mean,
distracted because they're barking inside.
it's the Dog Pound. Why wouldn't they be barking? Fuck it. But yeah, I mean, you know, you guys are in such a good place, man. Not only, you know, obviously having the mentors that you have, but having a facility to go in and train. You know, back in the day, my favorite stories ever. Taker was on Steve Austin's show talking about how the guy who originally trained him, I can't remember his name, but essentially they knocked on this dude's door, and for like 6 weeks straight, all the dude did was stretch everybody on his front lawn, just beat the shit out of him. And then they go to knock on this guy's door one day, and the guy's gone. House is completely cleared out, and there's just 2 dogs left. Steve Austin asked Taker, "Well, what'd you do with the dogs?" He said, "I fucking stole them." Of course I did. Like, the motherfucker stretched me for 6 weeks. What do you expect? But it's not like that anymore. Like, it's so much less of a carny business now. And I think what's dope is people realize that, like, Rodney and Jazz could have left wrestling and probably had a really good life and chilled and you know, worked whatever, or probably maybe never even had to work again, just chilled, right? But where we're at now is these legends realize, like, one, I can continue making money and not have to really be in the ring all the time like I was in WWE. And two, I can continue the business, which means everybody eats, if I train these guys the way I believe these guys should be trained. And eventually that's because, look, eventually statistically, one of the guys or girls from Dog Pound is going to make it to an AEW or a WWE or an MLW, something like that. It's just going to happen because of the training you guys get, because of the mentorship you guys get. But what that will breed is eventually maybe somebody who comes out of Dog Pound is a WWE Hall of Famer. And then that person opens up another school. And then that lineage from Dog Pound transfers and transfers and transfers, and it keeps going. That's what's so dope about schools like Dog Pound. If you guys,
I mean, it's the pedigree.
It's 100% the pedigree. If you guys don't know, if you're outside of Texas, just look up Dog Pound Dojo or Dog Pound Championship Wrestling, and look at the comments, look at the people who are following it, look at the people who have been associated with it, and if you're really a wrestling fan, this should be super exciting, a super exciting time in the business for you, because you have guys like Nate, you have guys like fucking Soda Pop Hendrix that are coming along. So
Yeah.
since we last talked, the one question that I didn't ask that I want to ask is more geared towards you than the show, or towards even us just shooting the shit. But
Oh no, go ahead. I'm so sorry. They're walking up to me. They're walking up to me like getting all nosy, like, what are you doing? What are you doing off here in the corner? I'm so sorry, man.
No, you're good. I'm trying to think of the way to say this. What do you use as your finish? What's your finish? How does Nate like to end the match?
Man, so it's a nasty armbar, bro. It's the nastiest armbar that you have ever seen in your whole life. And just like the Diamond Cutter, I can get that from any freaking spot.
So it's a flying armbar, or
no, man. So it's actually
opponent on the mat armbar, or
so it's a Fujiwara armbar.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to be the one where, I mean, you're really on the side of them, but you can lock that guy in from anywhere. They can be on their knees, their back, their stomach. You know, like I said, man, like the Diamond Cutter, I can get it from any spot.
Yeah, you guys, if you don't know what a Fujiwara armbar is, essentially opponent is belly down on the mat. The basic premise, the opponent is down on the mat. You're on the side where the arm is at. You've got their arm essentially between their legs, and you're wrenching back. It's essentially a Ronda Rousey armbar, but in reverse instead of on the back.
That's right.
It's so fucking sick. I love the Fujiwara.
Yeah, I do too, and I love it when they scream when I put it in.
Fuck yeah. I fucking bet. So, lights on you.
Yeah. You saw that? They cut the lights on me like that.
That's funny. So I'm gonna have to cut it a little bit early tonight, guys. Something's going on in my house that, don't worry about it. But let's get a couple of more plugs in. If anybody's walking by that wants to come on camera and say what's up, we'll definitely take them. But let's get a couple more plugs in for the show. Hit the talent again and let everybody know when it is and where they can find it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So next Saturday, February 26th, live from the historic Woodlawn Gym, now known as The Pit, Dog Pound Championship Wrestling brings cold-blooded. We've got the Iceman King Parsons. We've got Reggie B. Fine. We've got the Fighting Phenom Jazz. We've got the Red Dog Rodney Mack. And, of course, we have our Dog Pound for Pound champion, Haas Holden, defending his title in the main event against one man Mike Dell.
Hell yeah. So before we let you go, is there anything going on in the gym? Or are they shutting down?
No, they just shut down. They literally, that was the light. That was the curtain call. Jazz literally came out here and was like, Nate, what are you doing? And then she saw the earpiece in and she was like, okay, someone go grab Nate's stuff. And I was like, well, I guess that's the end of it.
That's the end of that. Hey, look, Nate, I apologize. I have to cut it off a little bit.
No, dude, you're all good.
I am excited for this show, and I will definitely be looking out. I need to get you on when you don't have an actual show to promote, so we can just shoot the shit for an hour, just bullshit.
Dude, I know. That's what I was sitting here thinking this whole time. I was like, man, I gotta come on just one of these days without the show to promote, or just come in and just really kick it, because
just shoot the shit.
Yeah, because you brought up, how big Texas wrestling's becoming, and want to know the first thing that popped into my mind, bro?
What?
Who are the two people that just got signed? Like literally over the past 2 weeks.
Oh, Keith Lee and
what's her name? What's her name?
Why am
I think it just broke today.
Then I don't know.
Roxy.
Oh, did Roxy sign to WWE?
That's what I've read all day, is that Roxy signed with WWE. And so you're talking about a girl that was raised here in Texas, that was trained here in Texas, and now is making her way to one of the biggest stages that wrestling can have. Everybody seems to forget that Keith Lee is from Texas.
Wichita Falls. Yep.
Right. You know, and then not only that, what's the other big news that broke today? That The Undertaker's going into the Hall of Fame? A Texas boy. That's a man, though. That's a Texas man.
You got it. Yeah. That's
no,
Texas murderer right there.
Murderers Row right there. But no, Texas wrestling's about to blow up, and these guys are just setting the precedent. Guys like Sammy Guevara, guys like Ricky Starks. If I can just leave with this one final message, it's not a plug for a Dog Pound show. To anybody watching this that's a worker that is coming up, myself included, Ricky Starks and Sammy Guevara are two of the most popular and over wrestlers right now in the country, in the world, and both have home roots here in Texas. The number 1 and 2 signings that have happened over the past 2-3 weeks are both from Texas. And so what I'm getting at is that just because it's not happening for you right now, just because it's not happening tomorrow or next month or even April at WrestleMania weekend with everything going on, keep grinding on it, keep pushing on it, get the reps in, because all of those people were us once. Like I've heard interviews where Ricky Starks was like, yo, I don't know if this is going to be it, you know? And now Ricky Starks is the FTW champion.
Yeah.
Ricky Starks is a former NWA TV champion. You know, Sammy Guevara is the TNT champion right now, the undisputed TNT champion. So Texas wrestling is blowing up, and just because there's so many fish in this sea doesn't mean that like you're getting lost in the ocean. You just got to find a way to keep swimming with the current.
Absolutely. And you said it. I mean, you said it right. 100%. Like Sammy Guevara is a Houston boy. I mean, that dude he's all Texas all the time. Texas right now, you guys, is the place to be. It's 100% the place to be. If you can come down to San Antonio, come here and watch a fucking Dog Pound. Just come in as a fan and watch a Dog Pound show. Go to Hybrid, go to Mission Pro, go to all these places that we have right now, and it's fucking murdering. Guys, before we go, I say it every week, every single time. If you are struggling with your mental health, trust me, I've been there. I've told my story on the podcast 1,000,000%. I'm sure Nate has his story. Everybody's got mental health struggles. If you're going through it, please DM me. If not, I will give you my phone number and we can text or talk or whatever the case is. We will get you help. Just please, please, please do not take a permanent solution for a temporary problem. I promise it'll get better. I promise it'll get better. I appreciate the love, the support. Nate, thank you for coming on again, my big dog, my brother.
Dude, thank you for having me again, brother. Anytime.
Absolutely. We're going to have, this is going to be a trilogy match. We're going to have you back on. And we're going to see, we're just going to bullshit about wrestling for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Let's do it, man. I'm game.
Hell yeah. You guys, thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Go watch Dog Pound Championship Wrestling. Come support local and support national and even international independent wrestling. It's the only way that wrestling continues.
That's right. 100%.
Support your independent. Guys, I love you. And remember, it's life and life is chaos.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode.